Morning, party people. Gotta get up and around here. I gotta go pick up my load. I gotta be there in 3 hours. My truck's an hour away, and I'm a half hour from my truck. So, getting everything put in my pickup. And I go down and get my truck, fill up the dog's water jugs, and then get on the road. As we are going to Williamsport, Pennsylvania to pick up a double drop load. First drop is in, I think it's Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Excuse me. Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and then my second drop and final drop is in, well, my final drop, which is the second drop, is in Phoenix, Arizona. My dispatcher got me $48.50. I still don't know what I'm hauling. All I know is that the load requirements are 8 pieces of dunnage, 12 straps, and 8 chains. Quote unquote building materials. But I'm delivering electrical supplies to electrical supply places. So something tells me I'm gonna have coils of wire and or conduit or something like that. We will see. Oh God. This is my other ride. Yeah, it's a Ford. Yeah, anyways, figured I'd give you guys a heads up on that one. Let's get it rocking and rolling. We will see you later. Morning, people. So I'm out here in Ohio. Went yesterday to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and picked up my load to Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and Phoenix, Arizona. And got it all loaded up. Good old rolls of electrical cable, about 25,000 pounds, sorry, 24,000 pounds. But I wanted to show you this. So you guys know I got my girls, Athena and Raven. Hi, Raven. Get down. Get down. Got Athena and Raven in here. My girls love rolling the windows down, but I fixed that. The link for this will be down in the description. So for anybody that has dogs and you don't like them rolling down the windows, because my girls would roll the windows down all the time. Like, we're parked at a truck stop, I'm getting fuel, they'll roll the windows down. We're parked for the night, sometime during the night, they'll roll the windows down. Right here, switch covers, made here in the USA. Now look at that. Good and solid. And I got over on that side there too, $60 for the pair plus shipping and handling. And they don't leave a trace. There's no, they don't use tape or glue or anything like that. You literally, you just pop the control module out of the door. It takes a flathead screwdriver just to pry it up a little bit. You pop that out, you unplug the bottom of it, you slip the window cover over it, and sit it right back down in the door. Like, it is so easy. It's literally right there. That's how you do it. And slides right back in. You just unplug it and do that. And then your puppies and your kitty cats, they can't roll the windows down. They can't get themselves out. And yeah, that's well worth the money I spent on getting those. But anyways, I need to get this party started. I got my drop in Kentucky in about 2.5 hours. I'll be there around 1 o'clock, a little after 1 o'clock. I have until 3. So that's pretty cool, and something that I wanted to show you guys. I was gonna record installing those, but I forgot my GoPro at home while I was home on my 34. But yeah, it's pretty cool right there. That's pretty cool. Anyways, see you guys on the next one. What's up, guys? Got just about to Amarillo, Texas last night. Got tired, said to hell with it, I'm shutting down. So now we're getting ready to roll out here. We're gonna hit up Little America we're gonna hit up Little America Travel Center at the top of I-17 in Flagstaff, Arizona. Before we get there, I gotta stop and do laundry. And yeah, then when I get out there, I'm gonna go on in and take a shower, because I need a shower. Let's get at it. Good Lord, I needed that shower. Got myself cleaned up, cut my hair. Whew. Still gotta do my laundry, but I'm going down to this Little America out here in Flagstaff. And I really didn't want to pay 19 bucks for a shower. Now that I showered, I can get out there, I can take my 34. And while I'm out there, I can wash my laundry. And yeah, so you guys are probably wondering, well, if you got to do laundry, where'd you get clean clothes? I got into I was at Glen Rio, New Mexico at the TA, and I bought a pair of jeans, some underwear, socks, and shirts. Yeah, it wasn't cheap, 75 bucks, you know. But I got a 6-pack of shirts, a 3-pack of underwear, a 3-pack of socks, and then a pair of jeans, which I needed to replace my jeans anyways, because half my jeans have holes all in them, and we're going into winter. So I need to change my wardrobe anyways, so I just started a little bit early and a little bit expensive. But, I mean, hell, it's no different than anybody going to American Eagle or Gap or wherever the hottest new chain clothing store is, so... yeah, all right. I already got fueled up. I ate. I got about 7.5 hours, and I'll be where I want to be. So let's get it going. And yeah. Alright folks, so week 2 in review. All in all, it was not a bad week. Last week was kind of messed up because I picked my load up on Friday. Was that Friday? Bum 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 bum. Give me a second here. Yes. So I picked up a load out of Endicott, Nebraska on Friday. It was a load of bricks going to Saddlebrook, New Jersey. That load was not the greatest. It paid $2,700. I had about 210 miles of deadhead from where I was. And the load itself was like 1,500 miles, I think it was. So I didn't get the best rate on that one. I was not exactly pleased with that, but you know, I figured let's see what the following week had to come about. So on Monday I delivered in New Jersey, and my dispatcher was like, hey, your 70's looking a little thin, so we're gonna do a reset and load you back out on Wednesday. And I said, well, that's all fine, well and good. I said, you know, I normally don't take 34s. I'd rather run off of recaps for like 2 weeks and then 34. But we'll try it your way. So I said, I'm not gonna sit in New Jersey for a 34. I said, there's just no way I'm sitting in New Jersey for a 34 right outside of New York City. I was like not even 30 miles from the George Washington Bridge in NYC, you know, on the Jersey side. So I said, I'm not gonna sit out here for a 34. I said, I'm only like 3 hours from home. I'm gonna deliver, I'll go home, take my 34, you can reload me out of central Pennsylvania. I said, that's just how it's gonna work, because I'm not sitting in Jersey. And she was like, okay, not a problem. So Tuesday rolls around and she gives me a heads up. She's like, hey, I got a load for you for tomorrow. I'm like, great. You know, let's you know, talk it over. What did you find, you know, that you're booking, so that I know when I got to leave out on Wednesday, because my 34 was up at like 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. And she said, I got your load out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's a 2-stop. First stop is in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and the second stop is in Phoenix, Arizona, and it pays $48.50. I said, okay. And she said, you know, you got to have 8 pieces of dunnage, 8 chains, and 12 straps per the rate con, you know, the broker's instructions. I said, okay, that's not a problem. I said, open up a support ticket for driver support. I said, my dunnage is not the greatest. It's, you know, not all of it is the same. It's not uniform length. It's not uniform size. I was like, I need to replace my dunnage. So she said, okay. I said, and then on top of that, you need to open another support ticket to get me my New Mexico permit. So she did all that. I got driver support got back to me. $10 later, I got my New Mexico permit, which is going to be coming out on, it should be coming out of this settlement. So then driver support contacts me about my dunnage, and because I needed financial help with the dunnage. You know, yeah, the dunnage was $150, but you know, I had bills I had to pay. My very first week here was not the greatest. I didn't have any money set aside. You know, I made $1,000. I had to pay bills. So they get with me, and I opened up what they call a fintech, which is basically, it's a financial assistance. Now you'll notice over here at Billor, everything they do is off this fintech. It's like a personal loan. They don't keep anything out of your check other than, you know, your normal expenses. They don't keep escrows. They don't keep a maintenance account. They don't do any of that stuff. So I got in touch with them, and they're like, okay, you know, go wherever you want to get your dunnage, get us a total price. We can do up the fintech, have you sign it, and then we'll pay for the dunnage. Okay. So I went up to Lowe's, and I ended up getting myself 12 pieces of 4x4x8. So my dunnage is, I've got 12 pieces of 4x4 dunnage on my trailer now that's in pristine condition, and it's exact, you know, from the inside of my rub rail to the inside of my rub rail, my entire deck, you know, it stretches across my entire deck at 8 feet. So that was $150. Get a hold of the FinTech and everything. They charge interest on their FinTechs. It's a loan. So, okay. So all totaled, it cost me $192. Well, it was $191 and change, $192. That got pulled out of my settlement this week. My settlement this week ended up, after everything, was just over $3,000. Friday morning, right in my account. They processed everything on Thursday. Friday morning, I had $3,000 in my business account. FinTech was paid for, all my other stuff paid for. Like, hey, that's, you can't beat that on a lease or a lease purchase. Okay. So, you know, ultimately this week ended out really well. I'm waiting to see how my next week figures up, because I've got to deliver this load tomorrow morning, Monday morning. But I was already paid for this load, so all my fuel that I paid Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning, because I got to fuel up before I leave to go down to Phoenix, you know, I got to pay all that fuel on top of my insurances, you know, all my other fixed costs. I don't know how the week's going to shape up, because I have access to load boards and there's nothing coming out. So between Monday and Thursday, I've got to make my money so that, you know, Thursday when I book my load before 6 o'clock Eastern time, my weekend load, my settlement will come out where my truck is grossed, you know, $7,000-8,000 for the week. I don't know if that's going to happen this week. We just got to see. But ultimately, that's trucking. You're going to have good weeks, you're going to have bad weeks. We got a really, I'm not going to say we got a great rate on this load out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania to Phoenix. Wasn't terrible. So I'm happy about that, you know, that it wasn't terrible. But I'm also looking at the Phoenix area going, okay, how am I getting out of here? Because I could go to California or I can go to Texas. You know, those are like my two options, and each one of those options does not, fuck, it's getting warm in here, does not pay all that great. Now again, I only have 2 load boards that I'm looking at. 1, 2, 3 load, truckload, and the trucker path load board. So I don't have access to all the load boards that Billor pulls off of. You know, there may be other loads out there that I just don't know about, because I don't, you know, like I said, I've only got 2 load boards that I look at, because I don't have the money to pay for the, I think it's like 25 or 26 load boards Billor pulls off of. So maybe there's something I don't see out there. I don't know. I did tell my dispatcher, you know, I really don't want to go into California or Oregon. You know, the rate's got to be phenomenal for me to do that. You know, she doesn't understand that, you know, I know my operating costs and everything, and if I say the rate for me to go into these places needs to be over $3, that's because for me to pull a profit, I need to have over $3 a mile. It's just, that's just how the business works out. So we'll see how that all goes. I'm not complaining. So far, my dispatcher, you know, has been relatively easy to get a hold of. Driver support, they're a little bit worse to get a hold of. You know, I send a message in, don't hear anything, call them up, nobody answers the phone, I hang up the phone, and like 5 minutes later, they'll call me back saying, hey, you know, we missed a phone call from you. Like, hey, check your messages. I need, you know, Everything's in the messages, check the messages because this is what we got going on. Oh, okay, give me a second, you know, and then we take care of it. So I'm trying to figure out what's gonna happen this week. I hope something good happens. I hope something falls into my lap, but you know, that's trucking. We just got to see how it plays out. As far as the truck goes, everything's running, knock on wood, everything's running okay right now. I do need to get it into the dealership because my truck should do an automatic park regen when it decides that it needs to, but it does not. I've got to manually regen the truck, and I've had it a couple times say that it was going to shut down because it needs a regen, and I'm like, this truck should automatically do that. If you're idling, it should automatically regen. So I do want to get it into the dealership to have the programming looked at for that specifically. But other than that, you know, everything's going pretty good. Raven likes the new truck. Don't you, girl? Yeah. She likes the new truck. Athena likes the new truck. Don't you, girl? Yeah. Yeah. Though she got into something, and for the last couple days she's had diarrhea. We finally got that straightened out, don't we? We're back to solid poops. No more messes in the truck. One of the reasons why I like not having carpet in the truck. Dog gets sick, they make a mess on the floor, you got carpet, it is so hard to clean up. I don't have carpet. I've got, well, that's the ear from their toy, but I've got rubber matting, so it makes it a lot easier to clean messes up. I like that. I do like that. But yeah, week number 2 in the books. I'm relatively pleased with how everything came out. There was a guy that made a post or made a comment on, I think it was my first review video. It was making a snide comment like, this won't last. You know, it's gonna last as long as it's gonna last. You know, nothing is ever written in stone, nothing is for sure. You, sir, made a post 5 months ago on your YouTube. The only thing you got posted on your YouTube about how you somehow dropped 100 grand on 2 titles for trucks, but yet you ain't giving us any updates. So I guess your master plan had more plan than master? I don't know. You know, but if you want to come into somebody else's, you know, channel and make comments like that, you know, you better have something to back it up. I make no guarantees that this business is gonna last. I make no guarantees that I'm gonna make, you know, good on my lease. I don't know what the future holds. None of us do. But you don't come in here making snide comments like that. That just ain't cool, dude. You know. But anyways, off my soapbox. My stuff's going good. The truck's going good. The loads are going okay. You know, I was expecting skateboarding to be a lot harder than what it is, and I'm finding out that it ain't that hard, but it is a heck of a lot more physical than I was anticipating. I think I've lost about 20 pounds since I started, but that's all right with me. I needed to lose weight. It's a great workout. I may actually start working out in the truck because, damn, I run out of breath way too quickly. I need to stop this. I need to eat healthier. I need to start working out. Shit, I need to change my life. Not cool. Oh well, we'll see how it goes. But anyways, guys, thanks for popping in. Real quick, last thing. I have to fix some stuff on my tracking sheet. I know a bunch of you guys are, you know, looking to see that tracking sheet. I will have it posted. I will have, you know, a video going over how I track everything. And yeah, I think I said earlier in one of the other video clips about the window control covers, switch covers that I got. These things right here, oh, you can't see it. Well, you know what I'm talking about because I made the video earlier. The company that makes them, they're out of the USA. I will be dropping a link down below in the description of where I got those, so that if you have puppy dogs or kitty cats and they roll your windows down and you want, you know, to get them, they make for Peterbilt, Kenworth, International, Freightliner. So yeah, I mean, well worth it. It cost me $60 for the pair of them. I spent the money. And these two geniuses here have not rolled the window down since I installed them, which makes me very happy. Anyways, guys, we will see you next week for our week 3 review. This is week 2. Let's live the dream. Later.